Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to this series on Introduction to BBC Microbit. So today we're going to be looking at the next part of this topic, which is the accelerometer on your BBC Microbit. So I'm just going to quickly switch over to our microbit here. So on the back of the microbit, you'll see a little you'll see this thing that says accelerometer right there. Okay. So inside the microbit, it can detect movement. So it can detect whether it's flat or whether it's tilted, whether it's this direction or that direction, X, Y, and Z. Okay. So we're going to just switch over to the presentation today. So here, you'll see we're talking about what's called gestures. So the built-in accelerometer can be used to detect movement and allows the microbit to recognize different gestures. So in this case, we have up, down, left, right, face up, face down, or shake. Okay. So we're going to switch over to make code now and start making this little example here. So if you just go to makecode.microbit.org, and what we want to do is create a new project, and we're just going to call this one lesson 4. So we are, and we're just going to call it lesson 4. We can just call it gestures for this one. Okay, and hit create. Okay. So if we look at our code, we're going to use the forever block, and we're going to use some logic, which is the selection or if statements, we call them in programming, selection. So if the gesture is screen up, then we're going to show this icon. Else we're going to show the sad icon. Okay. So if we go into, here's our forever block here, and we go to logic, and we find if, and it says if else. So we're going to use the if else one here. And then we're going to find is screen up gesture, and that is going to be on input. And it should be here. So the one we want is under input here, and it's this one here. It says is shake gesture. So we're going to drag that one, but we're going to change it to screen up. Okay. And then we're going to very simply take show icon and show icon, two of those basic. So we're going to show icon here, and it's going to be smiley face, and then if it's not, we're going to show sad face. Okay, so that should be the code there. So if the screen is up gesture, then show happy face, else show sad face. Okay, so we're just going to switch over then to our microbit. Of course, you'll need an adapter if you have one of the new ones, or a cable that connects to your laptop. So I'm just going to connect that up there. Okay, connect to your laptop, of course, as always, and connect it into our microbit. Okay, like so. Okay, all right. So if I switch back to our code here, we need to just check if it's connected to our microbit. So if it hasn't been connected, I'll just quickly go through that again, show you how to do that. So I'll just disconnect it here, and then it will ask you to reload possibly. So make sure you press this 3 dots to the connect device, hit next, and it should appear on here, and press connect. Okay. Once it's done that, then you can just simply press download. So I'll just switch over to my microbit here, download, and it should start flashing here. So if I switch to my microbit here, you'll see if I hold it up, oh, it's a little bit out of focus there. There we go. So it's sad, happy, sad, happy, based on the gesture. So if it tilted, it goes sad. Okay, so try that one out and see if you can get it to work. And as always, take a screenshot of your code here and then attach it to today's assignment, which should be here. Okay, so it should be there, what we're going to use. Okay, so that's that part. Next one then is we're going to play a game with our BBC Microbits, and it's going to be rock, paper, scissors. If you know the game, rock, paper, scissors, we're going to show you how to do that on the BBC Microbit. First thing we want to do is design our rock, paper, and scissors icons. So what you want to do is, here's my example, but you can come up with your own design, your own style for each of these icons. So that's what I want you to do first. So you can pause the video here, spend a few minutes designing your different parts, rock, paper, and scissors, and you put them in here. So if I was to enter it in here, for example, I could start here and just change the color, and it should let me just paint the bucket there. So you can just select this and then paint it, okay? So that should be what you need to do first before we're moving on to that one, okay? So next task here, it says this is incomplete code for the rock, paper, scissors game. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to follow the tutorial that's on the Make Code website to do this part, actually. So what we want to do is we want to switch back over to Make Code. We want to click here at the top to go back to this part, and we're going to scroll down until we find rock, paper, scissors. We want the V1 because we have the V1 microbit. If you have the version 2, which has the speaker on it, I actually have one of those here. It's a bit different, so it looks a bit different on the back here. You can also do the V2 one if you wish. Okay, it's looks a little bit different to this one. My camera's a little bit out of focus today for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. So, okay, so that you can use the V2 version if you wish. But we're going to be using the V1 for this tutorial, okay? So we're going to do the blocks tutorial. If you're feeling a bit more confident, you can try the Python or the JavaScript one. But I'm going to just show you how to do the blocks tutorial. Okay. Okay, so it'll step us through what we want. So we're going to first of all find the input block here. And it's going to be the shake one. Okay. And we want to press next on that. And we're going to set some variables. Okay, so you can see here, we can see the hint. So we're going to click on variables, make a variable, and we're going to call it hand. Okay, so we're going to click on variables. Again, a variable is somewhere to store something. Okay, make it called hand. I'll just check again what it says here, call hand, and then we're going to change or set hand to 0. Okay, so we're going to drag that in there then. So variables, and you can see set hand, drop it in there to 0. Okay, add a variable and place set hand block in the shake event. So that's what we've done. And set hand to pick random between 1 to 3. Okay, so we need to find that in the maths block. So random, and we want to change that from 1 to 3. Of course, there's 3 variations. It's going to pick a random number between 1 and 3 based on between those two numbers. So 1, 2, or 3. Okay. And next. And now we're going to have a logic gate here, and we're going to have a couple of different ones depending on what we're doing. Okay. So if it's 1, we do something, and we're going to set it to some LEDs. Okay. So we could try that then. So it says if the block is picked random, and check whether it's equal, and show LEDs block that shows a picture of the piece of paper. Number 1 will mean paper. Okay. So the first one will be paper. So we go to logic, and we click if, and if we can go back here, we can see what we want. So we want to find the other logic statement here. We want to grab this one, and if hand, so variable, we're going to grab hand is equal to, I think it says 1 there. Just double check. Yeah, it should be 1. Excellent. And then we're going to show LEDs. Okay, so we're going to go basic, show LEDs, and it's going to be like this for paper. Okay, so you can probably work out now what's going to happen next. Let's just quickly go through then. Okay, so we can test that out here. So we can test it out on here, and we can see what happens when we shake it. It may take a few times to get it to work. Okay, because not every time it's given us the number 1. Sometimes it's given us 2, sometimes it's given us 3. So we had to shake it a few times there to get it to give us the different variations. Okay, so next we want to add a plus down here. Yeah. And we need to actually hit plus again because we want to have 2 of these. So variables, again, we want to go to logic. So let's just check what it says there. Just do next then. And it should be else show our LEDs here. So our scissors look a little bit different, but there's another example there. So else, if we put in else then, and we go to basic, show here. Actually, we can take that off and just do plus else here. Drop it in. Make it a bit smaller so I can see. And for this one, they had the scissors like this, I think. Yeah. And what that was out. Like that. Okay. And again, if I hit shake on this one, it's going to be either one of the two depending on which number we get. Okay. Yeah, so let's do next then, and this time we will get an if else. So we have an if this time, so I'm guessing this will be 2. So click on the plus button, add an else if. Now add a conditional for hand 2. Select, since hand can only be 1, 2 or 3, that should be all the different cases. So here I'm sure it'll ask us to put in, yeah, the hand one again. So we can actually take this one and Command C, Command V, copy it, drop it in here. This time it should be number 2. And we want our basic again, drop our LEDs in. And this time it should be the rock, like so. Okay, so just let's check what it wants us to do there. Yeah, so we should have, they did the rock a little bit different. Okay, I can do it like that. Okay, so now we should just try to download that. So this is what our final code should look like here. We don't need these 2. Just leave those there. And we have, if the hand equals 1, then it's going to give us the paper. If it's 2, it's going to give us the rock. And if it's anything else, it's going to give us the scissors. Okay, so if I shake, I have scissors, rock, paper, paper again, rock. So it should work. So if you press download on that, that should give us the next part. Okay, so download, switch over to my microbit there. So if I go back to here and shake it, we got paper, we got scissors, paper, scissors. Let's see if I can get, there we go, we got rock as well. Okay, so have a go with that one and see how you do. Okay, so as always, take a screenshot of your code. Okay, so if I go here, take a screenshot of this code and place it into the presentation right here. Okay. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so for part two of the lesson, we're going to look at, we can actually do some finer movements with the accelerometer, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to detect small movements in the accelerometer, and we're going to play a little game with that one as well. So if we come back here, so you should have placed a screenshot of your rock, paper, scissors code in here. And this one, so here we can detect is if X is going to be from left to right, Y is tilting forwards or back, and Z is moving up and down. So it depends on what direction it is. So if I switch over to, so for example, left and right, we can detect, and then forwards and backwards like that, and then up and down, of course, like so. Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll try this code here, and you'll notice that the code is missing something here. So we're going to try and get it to work. So what's it doing? It's checking the reading, and we're checking the acceleration, because that's what the accelerometer does. It detects changes in movement, and it will detect, on, in this case, the x-axis, which is from left to right. Okay, so let's see if we can get it to work. So again, what we want to do then is we want to switch over to our make code, and we can use the one we use for rock, paper, scissors if you want. I'm just going to start a new one. I'm just going to call it lesson 4, and we're just going to put part 2 for this one. Okay. So what we're going to do then is we want to create a variable that will measure the reading from the x-axis. And a variable is a place where we can store the data we want. So we're just going to click on make variable, and we're just going to call it reading, like so. And we'll just press OK on that, and then we have it. Okay. And what we want to do then is we want to set it to the acceleration here. Okay. So we're going to grab set reading, and we're going to put it into the forever block. So we're going to put it there. I'll bring this down, make it a bit bigger there so we can see it. Okay, so here we want to set it to reading to the acceleration. So if we want to go to input, and it should be here, acceleration. I'm going to drop that in there, and it's already set to the x-axis. Okay. And next, we want to take that and we want to put it into a logic statement here. So we're going to grab our logic statements here, logic statement, and we'll use this one, if else, and we could just do another plus on that. So we have 2 of them, and we need to pick up another logic option, which is the comparison operator. So we're going to grab this one, and we're going to check if the reading is greater than 20. Okay, so if we do reading, go back to my variables here, reading, and drop it in here, and it should be greater than, so find the greater than symbol here, 20. Okay, so the idea of the game is then to show you the string, so to tell you which way to point it so it gets it in the right area. So we're going to change that. I'm going to do basic, I'm going to do show string, and we're going to show this arrow. So if we tilted too far to one direction, then we wanted to go back the other direction. Okay, so if we bring this over here, you can see it wants to move back. Now it's stuck on that one, so we need to fix that. And what we want to do is we want to take this one, copy it, Command V, and then we're going to put it there. And if it's greater than, if we want to do it for, it's the other way this time, so we want to do minus 20. Okay, we're going to show string, we can copy that one, and we want to make it point the other direction. Okay, like so. And else we want it to just show smiley face, so then we know we're in the center. Okay, so it should be show me a smiley face here if we've done it correctly. There we go. So if it's in the middle, so if I tilt it this way, it should be, oh no, it should be less than, that's the, yeah, else if, just make sure I'll check what we've done. Yes, it should be greater than 20 or less than minus 20. And it'll tell you which direction to put it in. So if I move it, it tells me to move this way. If I get it into the middle, yeah, it should work like so. Okay. So try that. Let's download that onto our microbit. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so on here, if I switch over to this, you'll see it's telling me to tilt it this way. Yep, it's in the middle. If I tilt it that way, it's like, go back. Okay, I tilt it. So the aim of the game is to try and keep it for as long as possible in the middle. See if you can count the time it takes. So see if you can keep it as long as possible. Okay, so it tells you to move it back in the right direction. Okay, so let's go back. Of course, take a screenshot of this code and then place it into here. Okay, and the next part then is up to you. You have to change how sensitive the game is to make it harder. So for example, instead of making it 20, you can make it 10 or 9 and see if you can get people to get it as close as possible. Okay, so that's that part done. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.